Breaker19, this here's Board Game Social. YouTube, you got your ears on? Woo-wee, I got a board game for you. It's all about the lifeblood of the American economy. It's called Loaded Up and Truckin'. This here game's got the pick up and deliver, some area control, some push your luck, and some of them there nasty smokies. I'm gonna run on down to the Choke and Puke, order me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper, and find out if this dog hunts. Come on, Fred. This here's a game called Loaded Up and Truckin'. It's a pick up and deliver kind of game. I got a review to do and a short time to do it. Come on, people, watch old Dino run. Greetings, YouTube. This is Dean with Board Game Social, and today we're going to take a look at Loaded Up and Truckin'. This is a new game design published by Nothing Now Games, designed by Joe Roush. And this is a straight up pick up and deliver style game with a trucker theme to it. It is as you can see, this is a prototype version. I don't have a copy of the final version because it's just now on Kickstarter. So when you take a look at this, just keep that in mind. It is a prototype, and I really don't know what the final components are going to be. If it's going to be a mounted map board. Obviously, I know the chits are going to be different. Alright, so the setup of the game is really simple. You got the game board in the middle of all the players. Each player is going to choose a color. This can play 2 to 6 players. So there's 6 different colors to choose from. You are going to take the event deck, which is a deck of cards. You're going to shuffle the event deck up, and then you're going to peel off 12 cards. Those 12 cards are going to be your event deck for the game. And I'll go through kind of what the event deck does in just a few moments, and there are various cards that are going to impact that specific turn of play. So you take 12 cards off. That's your event deck for the game because there's 12 rounds to the game. So you got the event deck. You then randomly pull 5 chits per person that's playing. So this is a 3-player game. So I randomly chose 15 chits out of the bag. And you're going to take a look at the chit. One side is going to say the city. So it says Dallas. So that's where it's going to be placed. And the other side is going to tell you what the destination city is and how much it's going to pay you. So this one starts in Dallas, and it's going to go to Sioux Falls, which is up here somewhere. And it's going to pay you $8 for that route. Okay, so to start the game, the first player is going to take a hub, which is one of their cubes, and they're going to place it on a named city on the board. Has to be in a named city. These just count as movement points, the little junction spaces. So you're going to look to see maybe where there's some goods. And I'm going to place my starting hub in Kansas City, where I know at least I can pick up one good to start with. I'm also going to take my first 2 trucks, and I'm going to place them at my hub as well. It's then going to rotate around the board clockwise. So the red player is going to take one, and maybe they want to start out here in the west, so they're going to put theirs in Las Vegas. And they'll put their first 2 trucks out there. And then the third player is going to take theirs, and maybe they're going to go East Coast, so we're not all bunched together. So they're going to put theirs in Pittsburgh. And they'll put their first 2 trucks out there as well. Alright, so the very first thing you're going to do to start your turn is you're going to draw an event card. And again, there's only 12 event cards, 1 for each turn of the game, and they impact that specific turn. So this one, first off the bat, says Clear Roads. All movement in the Mid-Atlantic now costs a half a movement point per space this turn. So instead of it being a normal 1 movement point per space, in this area, it's going to be a half. So it's going to double your movement allowance. So that's a pretty good card. And there are other cards in here, some of them that slow you down, some of them that pull goods off of the board. And at the very end, I'll kind of run through some of those cards for you. But they do impact the turn in one way or the other. Alright, step 2 of your turn is you're going to look at your truck, your player board, and you're going to look at how many trucks you have out on the board. Again, you start the game with 2 trucks out there. And then you're going to look at how many empty spaces of cargo you have in your trucks. I have 4 empty spaces, so I'm going to draw 4 chits at random and place them on the board. If I had 1 in there, then I draw 3. Again, it's based off of the number of trucks on the board and how many empty cargo spaces. So I'm going to pull 4. This one's going to start in New Orleans. And again, when you look at the chits, one side's going to have a line that says where the starting city is, and the other one's going to have the destination with the dollar amount. So this one's going to start in Tampa, go to Houston. This one's going to start in Columbus. And this one's going to start in Milwaukee. Alright, so as you see, as the game goes on, more and more goods are going to be out there on the table. Okay, the next step is you're going to use the option of purchasing new equipment. You can either purchase a new truck, or a new hub, or a combination. If you've got enough money, you can purchase 2 hubs, 3 trucks, whatever, however you want to do it. And each one that you purchase is going to go up, then the dollar amount is going to cost you the next time. Here's the caveats to that. Any truck you purchase has to go wherever you have a hub. So if you never buy any new hubs, you're going to keep putting your trucks out in the same spot. Your hubs, if you purchase them, just have to go into a named city. You can put them in the same region where you already have a hub. That's fine, because at the end I'll show you how that calculates into victory points or reputation points. Or you can put them somewhere else so you're spread out across the board. You can place your cube first and then place your truck immediately in that new hub. That is an option for you as well. Okay, and then finally your next step is going to be to move your truck. Each truck is allotted 7 movement points per turn. So truck number 1 can move 7, and here's how the movement points work. Each space you move is 1 movement point, even if it's into a city. To load a good, from 1 to 2 goods, it doesn't matter. It can be 1 good, it can be both your goods. To load them costs you 2 movement points. To unload them, the same thing. It's going to cost you 2 movement points whether you're unloading 1 good or 2 goods. Here's the thing you need to remember about this. Once you pick up a good, you have to deliver it. It is a binding contract. You can't dump it. You can't sell it to a different city for less money. You have to deliver it or drive around with it in your truck for the entire game if you decide not to. So bear that in mind as you play the game. So my truck number 1's got 7 movement points. I'm here in Omaha. I'm going to spend 2 movement points to pick up the good. All right, and place it in my truck. So I've used 2. I'm going to then drive 3, 4 to get to Omaha. So I'm in Omaha, that's 4. And then I'm going to sell this good that I just picked up that says it's going to Omaha with 2 action points. That takes me to 6. All right, and then I'm going to sell it for $1. So I move myself up on the reputation track. And I still have 1 movement point left over. I can either choose to move somewhere. I can sit there. I can move up here and spend it. I can sit here in this space. And I can use an optional bonus movement die roll. How this works is you roll a 6-sided die. If I roll a 1, I get 1 extra movement point. If I roll a 2, I get 2 extra movement points. A 3, 4, and 5 give me nothing. And a 6 gives me nothing, and it costs me $7 because I got caught by the Smokies and they gave me a big old ticket. Alright. Cards, the event cards can sometimes influence those die rolls. And as you progress in the game, if you look at your player board, as you buy more and more hubs, it gives you more and more options for die rolls. Once you get to your 3rd hub, you can roll the dice twice, 1 for each different truck. If you get all your hubs out there, then you have 3 die rolls per turn, for 3 different trucks. So it can be a benefit to get those hubs out there to give you those extra movement points. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and risk it, and I'm going to roll the die to see if I can get that extra movement point so I can pick up that good. I rolled a 4, that's nothing, so my turn is then over because you do that at the end of your allotted movement. Alright, so then it would now progress over to the red player, and the same thing, they would pull chits for their empty cargo spaces, so on and so forth. Okay, the final option that you have on your turn is that if one of your trucks starts its turn in a city where there are no goods to be picked up, so let's say next turn or whatever reason, I'm here in Oklahoma City, there are no goods to be picked up. I have the option, I can spend all 7 of my movement points to move to another city that has a good and pick up 1 to 2 of those goods. If there's 2 of them, I can pick up both of them, or I can just pick up 1. Okay? It has to be within the same region that you're in, or if there's no other cities in the region that you're in that have any goods, you can move to an adjacent region that has a city with a good in it. It's kind of like teleporting there, and the theory behind it is unencumbered trucks with no freight can just simply haul butt to get to places to pick up freight to make money, because for most truckers, You know, if they're not hauling, they're not making money. So this kind of represents that aspect of the game. Okay, and so that's what you can do on your turn. It's real simple. Pull the event card, pull the goods chits for the open cargo spaces you have on your trailers, purchase any new trucks or any new hubs that you want to, and then complete your movements, picking up goods, dropping off goods, or potentially maybe relocating your truck if that happens. As the game goes on, that option's not going to be widely available because there's going to be a lot more goods out on the table or on the board. So, how do you get points in this game? As you deliver your goods, you're going to accrue money, and it can add up pretty fast, especially if you get some of these longer routes. So as you accrue that money, you'll be spending it sometimes on hubs and trucks. At the end of the game, you're going to get 1 reputation point for every $10. So if you've got $100, you're going to get 10 reputation points. If you've got $104, you're going to get 10 reputation points. It's got to be complete increments of 10. Those reputation points are then going to be tallied on the tracker here. You're also going to get 1 reputation point for any leftover cargo that you have in your tractor trailers when the game ends. This can be pretty important because as the game winds down and on that last turn, you may have just enough to get to a city and drop something off, and you're going to want to pick up any goods that are left over in that city, even though you can't complete the route, because you will get a reputation point for each one of those that are still in your trailer. And then the final way that you're going to get reputation points is you're going to take a look at the regions on the map and the amount of completed deliveries that you've been able to haul there. And it's an area control mechanic. All right, so if I've got the most completed deliveries in the Midwest, then I'm going to have area control of that, and I'm going to get the most reputation points. In combination with the delivered goods, you're also going to count any hubs you have out there. So for the Plains area, I completed 1 delivery. I've also got 1 hub, so that counts as 2 points. If I am the person with the most points in that area, then I'm going to get the greatest amount of reputation points. And it's going to fluctuate based on the number of players. So for this 3-player game, if I am the first, person with the most area control, I'm going to get 15 reputation points. If I'm the second person, I'm going to get 12. And if I'm the third person, I'm going to get 9. Again, it's a combination of the number of goods you've delivered. Doesn't matter the dollar amount. It's just the number of goods you delivered and however many hubs you have in those areas. Again, that's why I said when you buy new hubs, you can put them in the same areas. It's just going to give you more points at the end towards your calculation. Another couple things to remember about when you're calculating at the end is that if there's a tie, what you're going to do is say there's a tie. Say I've got 3, they've got 3, they've got 2. We're going to take the first and second place points, which in this point would be 15 and 12. We're going to add them together. That's 27. We're going to divide it in 2. All right, so that'd be 13 and a half. So we'd each get 13 because you're going to round down. So we're going to split the points without affecting the third player. The third player then would get their 9 points. Also, if you do not have any goods delivered or any hubs in an area, then you don't get any points. So yeah, you might have been the third place, but you didn't make any deliveries, you don't have any hubs, so you don't get those 9 points. Only the people that have actually made deliveries or have a hub in those areas will take part in those points. And you're going to do that for each one of the regions. So I played this as a 2-player game, a 3-player game, a 4-player game, and surprisingly, the person that was leading in money each time didn't end up being the winner, because these points here at the end really factor into the final reputation points and who actually wins the game. Okay, so in summary, how do you score points? Again, dollar amount that you've earned throughout the game, delivering the goods. For every full $10 in increments, you're going to get 1 reputation point. You're going to play that area control game of how many goods did I deliver and how many hubs do I have in that region. If I've got the most, then I get the first place amount of reputation points depending on the number of players in the game. All right, and then Remember also, you're going to get an extra victory point, or extra reputation point for every good you have that is undelivered but still in your cargo trailers at the end of the game. So there's 3 different ways of getting reputation points. It's definitely not a point salad game, but there's enough variation to it that one person can't just run away with the game. As I said, the person in the games I played, the person who was leading in the dollar amounts from completed deliveries ended up not winning the game in any of the 3. And they were all very close games. I don't think any of the games I played was wider than a 10-point spread, and most of them were closer than that when it came time to the final tally of the reputation points. So for me, that's a sign of a good game. I didn't have any one person be able to just run away and hide. So with that being said, here are my final thoughts. All right. So this is a very solid pick up and deliver game. And I like it because it's not just pick up and deliver, but it has that area control mechanic working for it as well. You've got just a little bit of that push your luck with the die roll. It doesn't overbalance or make the game imbalanced by any mean. And the event cards have that nice thematic flair that are going to affect each turn. You know, they can be convoy cards where you got the convoy cards where all trucks have 8 movement points this turn. You have cheap real estate, so this turn only, players may place their next hub on the map at half price. Alright, you got corporate confusion, players may not reuse the relocate action this turn. Snowstorms, all movements in the plains areas now cost 2 movement points per space. Production boom, each player draws 2 extra goods this turn, so place out on the board. You've got efficiency, all goods loaded or unloaded in the Great Lakes area cost 0 movement points. You've got warehouse strike. I think we all know about that in the game industry, right? This turn, all goods in the Southwest cities are returned to the bag, and any Southwest goods drawn this turn are returned to the bag. So for this one would be, if we drew this card, we'd pull off any goods that are on the board in the Southwest, and anything that was drawn out we wouldn't place on there if it was in the Southwest. So again, there are different event cards throughout there. There's ones that if you roll a 5 or a 6 on the bonus die roll, then that means you got to pay the ticket, the $7 ticket fee because the Smokies got you, so on and so forth. So the event cards, they add just enough to make each turn a little different, but there's so much going on the board when you get your different trucks out there that it shouldn't hamper you unless you just happen to have all your trucks in one area and it gets hit by an event card, which would be pretty rare, I would think. Alright, was there anything that I didn't like about the game? No, mechanically I thought it worked very well. There didn't seem to be anything that was real fiddly or that took up a lot of time, and even a 4-player game on 12 turns went by pretty fast once you get in the groove of it, and it's a very simple game to learn and understand. This is a prototype copy that I have. I don't know what the final version is going to look like aesthetically, but mechanically it's a very solid game and one that I will certainly pick up in its final version and add to my collection. I did enjoy it quite a bit. It's not a heavy game by any means, and it's one that even my 12-year-old is able to play. So check it out if you're interested in a truck theme, if you're interested in pick up and deliver, if you're interested in some area control. Take a look at the Kickstarter project. You make your own decision whether or not you want to back it or not. Alright, thank you guys very much for checking out this video. Again, my name is Dean, this is Board Game Social, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. Please, if you enjoy it, check us out on Facebook. You like us on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It would be greatly appreciated. And until the next time, I will see you at the next social event. Come on, Fred.